Endicott, New York. Daniel on the independent line.
Yeah, my personal opinion, like I got two questions and then I got a statement. My question is, how did this country get in debt in the first place, and what are we doing to fix it?
Okay.
All right. We'll just leave it there, Daniel, and have him respond to that part.
Sure. We got in debt because we spend too much money, more than we take in. We have a spending problem in Washington. We do not have a revenue problem. We're taking in lots of money. And just look at your paycheck at the end of each week or what have you, and you realize the federal government takes in, and your state and your county governments take in a lot of money. We have a spending problem here in Washington. And if I had a little chart here, you'd see that we are actually seeing our deficits going down, 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 over the last several years of the Bush administration. Not to be partisan, but that's the chart would show. And then in 07, it probably bottomed out, and then we see debt going up in 08 and 09, and it's off the charts. So it's a spending problem here in Washington, not a revenue problem, and something, unfortunately, this administration doesn't want to tackle at all.
Savannah, Georgia, on the Republican line. Joella?
Yes.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. Whenever President Obama was going around the country campaigning, he campaigned saying that the country was in, George Bush's country was in dire straits. And he campaigned saying that he was going to fix things. And now all I can hear is him whine and complain, and his talking heads also too say, "Jiminy, just look at what we've walked into." Well, it was my understanding that he understood that and was going to do something about it. And you Republicans, whenever you're confronted with this, why don't you say, for goodness sakes, what he planned to do was to fix it? Why hasn't he done it?
I know. Why hasn't he done it? We keep asking that. Matter of fact, I serve on the Budget Committee, and the Democrat majority, started out their refrain in the same way they always do, in blaming George Bush. I mean, it's been, remember, the Democrats took over in 07. It's January of 07, right? So it's 07, 08, 09. Now we're halfway through 010. That's 3.5 years that the Democrats have controlled the House where I serve. And as you know, the appropriation or spending bills, they all, by the Constitution, originate where? In the House. So to the previous caller's question as far as why do we spend so much, well, it all starts with the House. They have been in the control since 07, even before President Obama came in. So they could have kept spending down, to the last caller's point. And now this caller's, you're right, we could have had this administration come in, well, here's our game plan. We're going to rein in spending. We're going to start eliminating these useless programs, these duplicated areas.
Can you do that? And when you have an economic downturn like we had, can you come in and say we're going to freeze spending and rein it in?
Well, what you can do is this. You can do the same thing in government that you have to do in your own family budget. And all the callers here, most of these callers were probably going through tough times too over the last years, and a lot of them are still going through tough times. And what do they have to do? They have to look at their budget and say, how do I live within my means? Maybe I was going to out to eat or going to get renting videos or whatever in the past. I can't do those things now because I have to pay my mortgage, my rent, and so on and so forth. So what is that basically doing? Prioritizing. Washington never prioritizes. So yes, President Obama could have come in and said, here is my list of priorities. We're going to spend on these things, but here are the things that we're going to cut spending on. He never did it.
All right. Douglas, Georgia. Sonny on the Democratic line. You're our last phone call.
Okay.
Morning, Sonny.
Yeah. Scott, this is Sonny.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Sonny from Georgia.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I am a Democrat, but I do try to keep up with you, and I'm a fan of yours. But on the jobless bill, I believe it's coming up today. I may be wrong. I'm a news junkie. The wife stays on me all the time, and there's so many Republicans against that. And in the state of Georgia, we have so many people unemployed, and the crime rate's just sky high, and it just keeps growing higher and higher. And why is so many Republicans against it? I mean, and then we got the oil spill and all these people out of work. That's my question.
Sure. Is he still there?
Sorry.
Okay,
I didn't realize you wanted to talk to him.
No, I was just curious what he does and what have you, what his situation is. I think with the Republican perspective on this thing is that yes, we have unemployment insurance, and yes, there is should be extensions of them. But the question is how long of extensions. The extensions we're looking at right now looks to around 98 or 99 weeks, which is quite a long period of time for somebody to be on unemployment. Once you reach a certain point, then the question is, should there be some other programs other than regular unemployment insurance that should be trying to address your situation? And ultimately, I don't know whether this caller is unemployed or not, ultimately the solution is not longer unemployment, it's getting a job back. And that's really what Republicans are focused on, getting jobs.
It sounds like for that caller, for their edification, it sounds like in the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is working with Democrats who are opposed to the jobs package the way it is shaped right now. And he says that, it says in the Washington Post that Reid took aim at jobless benefits, which some Democrats complained may be too generous at a time of economic recovery. While the revised package would extend emergency benefits through the end of November, Aide said it would also take $25 out of the weekly checks received by 15 million unemployed workers, repealing a payment boost first approved in the last year's economic stimulus package. So that's for Sonny in Douglas, Georgia, and others that are interested in that legislation in the Senate. Go ahead.
So the point is again, the Democrats are not negotiating with us. The Republicans aren't blocking anything. We don't have the votes to block anything. It's within their own Democrat caucus that they can't come to an agreement on the extended package. Right. You're right.
All right, Scott Garrett, we'll leave it there. Thanks
you
for being on the Journal this
Appreciate
morning. Thanks for talking to our viewers.